What's up, everybody? It's your boy Hertz, and thank you for listening to the Built for Anything podcast. I feel really, really good today. Got my workout in, got my smoothie. I feel really good. Talking to you live here in Dallas, where I'm still wearing shorts and a short sleeve in October. Let me tell you, coming from New York, this is a welcomed experience. Gotta love the weather out here. It does get hot. I will not lie about that. But, hey, it's all good. Let's get right into it, y'all. Now, this podcast is going to be sports and everything in between. I call this the Built for Anything 2.0 because I want to go in a different direction. I want to be able to discuss what's going on in sports and add my observations and my critiques, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. All right, so if you're not subscribed, definitely subscribe, and let's get on with this show. Now, I'm going to start with Marshawn Lynch. Man, who saw that game last night? It's a pretty good game between the Raiders and the Chiefs. Very important game for the Raiders. They've been losing the last couple of games. The Chiefs playing some really good football. You know, this was a good Thursday night game. But I'm going to talk about Marshawn Lynch. Because Marshawn Lynch, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing, bro? You ran out into the field like his best friend was being jumped in a street fight. You guys know what I mean. Your boy is getting beat up. You jump right in. Or a family member, you come running to the rescue. The problem is, Marshawn, you're on the sideline. You got these guys, there's always tussles and pulling and grabbing in football, which I never really understand because what are you going to do? Throw a punch at somebody's helmet? Break your hand? On national TV? So he comes running out, and in the heat of the moment, he grabs the ref in an attempt to get to the other player on the other team. Immediately ejected. And Marshawn, I'm saying to myself, dude, why don't you go to the coach when you see this happening? You go to the coach and you say, look, I need the next 3 drives. Next 3 drives, it needs to be runs. I want to run it down their throat. But you know, Marshawn he's an interesting person because if you push him too much, if you put too much authority on him, he'll just mentally check out. So I can't even blame Del Rio or even the organization for kind of letting him be, because you knew what you were getting from Seattle. Now, in Seattle, they have a tendency to just kind of let guys be themselves. And so him coming to the Raiders, they kind of knew that he was somebody they probably need to have a little bit of a longer leash on. Now, doesn't excuse his actions whatsoever. Because, I mean, they won in spite of him. But what I will say, though, Marshawn Lynch show on Facebook, if you have not seen that, definitely need to go watch it. I believe it's 2 episodes in. It's called No Script. It's funny. You really get an insight into his character. He's definitely a charismatic guy, a rebel. Especially, it's funny because, you know, this is a guy who you couldn't even get to do interviews. So watching him on Facebook and seeing him interact, it's like, dude, you have so much personality. But, I mean, he has his reasons. I can't say I blame him. I mean, you see what happened to Cam Newton. He doesn't even want to talk to the media nowadays. I think a lot of athletes get tired of people saying they want to hear from them and they want them to speak their mind. But yet when they do, if it's something that's just not politically correct, they get scolded for it. So it's a tough position to be in as an athlete. But Marshawn, you gotta do better. Come on, bro. Now, let's talk Derek Carr. See, Derek Carr, he gets the very first official Ball So Hard award of the day. Okay, this is the award that I give the player of the night, or maybe even the player of the week. And so he was able to come back in spite of what happened with Marshawn Lynch, and they had a great finish. And so shout outs to him. It's still, early in the season. They got a long way to go. So definitely let's keep our eye out on them Raiders. Now let's go on to the next thing. Let's talk some baseball. See, listen, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I may become a full-time baseball fan. Yep, I said it. Because right now, I'm what you call less than a part-time fan. When it comes to baseball, I'm like that person with 2 other jobs and just works there because of the discounts. You know what I mean. Like it's a love-hate relationship. When I think about baseball, the game is just too slow for me. Now, I've gone to live baseball games with friends, and I think anytime you go to sporting events, it's always good, especially if you have the right people with you. But you sit there and it's almost like you're anticipating the home run. You're anticipating a score. And it might be an hour before you see anything happen. Hour and a half. Baseball games are long. And so I think what's happening right now with baseball, specifically the Yankees, you're seeing a lot of home runs. You see the momentum that's building because the Yankees wasn't supposed to be there. And so sports is all about storylines. And it's just like drama. It's just like TV. TV shows. And when you look at what's going on and you see the history of the Yankees, for them to be where they're at, a wild card, to be en route to the World Series, I don't want to jinx it. It's definitely bringing in the casual fan, specifically myself. So I don't know. This next year I might catch a couple more games. And the season is long, man. Over 100 games. But I do know people who love baseball. And I think it's a great thing if you do love the sport to be able to watch it all the time. I think, that's a good thing for them. But I'm definitely slowly really getting into baseball. And I think moments like this is what's needed in order to keep the sport going. So let's talk about the Yankees, right? So you see, this is why I always say it's important that every sport that has their teams, it's important that those teams do well. So here's what I mean. MLB is better when the Yankees are playing good. Basketball is better when Basketball is better when the Lakers are playing good. And I'm going to get to them later in that horrendous performance last night. The league is better when the Celtics are playing good. The Knicks, Chicago, the big markets. If I'm an athlete coming into any type of major sports, I definitely want to be linked to a team that has tradition. Which brings me to Aaron Judge. Man, what this guy is doing, a rookie, a 25, reminds me a lot of what Derek Jeter did. And it's not just what Aaron Judge is doing, it's where he's doing it and at what time he's doing it. Meaning, he's doing this on the big stage in the Big Apple. That's important. because there's no pressure like having to perform in a great sports town or big market. That's no easy thing. Everybody's not built like that. And so for him to come in and be a factor, carry himself the right way, I think that's a really, really great thing. And, I'm definitely going to be following his career because to me, I feel like, the Yankees already won. The fact that they are 2, maybe 3 years ahead of schedule, it's just phenomenal. But there's still plenty of work to do. So I'm wishing them the best. I'm hoping that there is a parade in New York. So I may have to take a flight out there. But we'll have to see. Those Dodgers is no joke. Now, speaking of rookies, let's move on to the NBA. Let's talk a little Lonzo Ball. And let's talk about the horrendous performance from my team, the Lakers. And I know everybody was watching, anticipating. And I knew that if Lonzo didn't have a good night, he was going to get torched. But he's a rookie. But I'm more concerned about this team because all off season, I kept hearing from the coach about preaching defense and saying how that's the focus in the off season. They got to be able to stop guys. It's about playing both sides of the ball. And I'm okay with that. But I've been hearing this over and over. And they have these lapses where even teams that are not that good are beating them. Because the Clippers are not that good. Patrick Beverley is not that good. It's just that the team chemistry on the Lakers has to develop. And they don't really have, again, this is the reason why you need to have stars. Because stars also pick up the other people around you. And although they have a young, talented team with a good upside, they're still very young and inexperienced for the most part. And they don't really have that player who can elevate them. So it's no surprise that they had a performance like that. But another thing that bothered me was that all off season, I kept hearing about this, I'm a leader. Almost everybody that interviewed kept saying, as being a leader on this team, Larry Nance said it. Brandon Ingram said it. You have Magic saying Lonzo's a leader on the team. And the list just goes on and on. And even KCP, I'm a leader, veteran presence, and Brooke Lopez, trying to lead this team. You can't have too many leaders, okay? It's important for you to have a leader on the team, and it's important for you to have great players. But sometimes the leader is not your best player. I use Golden State, for example. To me, we all know that Draymond Green is the heart of that team. But is he the best player? No. That can go to a Kevin Durant. That can go to a Steph Curry. You may have a captain on the team, but the guy who's the emotional leader, the guy who keeps everything together, every team has to have that. Every great team has to have that. And the Lakers don't have that. And so I'm putting Luke Walton, the coach, on the hot seat. Dude, you gotta, whatever it is that you've been talking about or trying to implement, it ain't working because I'm not seeing it. But, talking about rookies, see, here's an interesting thing. I get up this morning and I'm on my treadmill and I'm running and I'm listening to the radio. And of course, they're talking about Lonzo's performance and how it stacks up against other rookies. But here's the thing that I noticed. When you look at the top rookies that came out of the draft, right? You have De'Aaron Fox, Josh Jackson, Jason Tatum, Markelle Fultz. I'm going to throw Ben Simmons in there, even though he came out the year before, but he's considered the rookie that everyone's keeping an eye on. Like I said, Dennis Smith Jr., Lonzo Ball. You know what they all have in common right now? They all lost their first game. Every single last one of them. And, these are guys that are young. These one and done guys. It's showing you that not all of them are ready. Now, Karl Anthony Towns, see, he's just so skilled. And he was in a situation where they were going to go through him. As a big man, you're going to have opportunities because you're always around the rim. So he's able to shine. But some of these other guys who are guards, masquerading as point guards, not really pure point guards, with the exception of Lonzo Ball, they all lost their first game. They're all going to need time to mature. And even Ben Simmons, the fact that he's doing well right now, you got to remember, he had a whole year off. I'm pretty sure he was playing basketball in between that time, working out, maybe in practice. I think they were just trying to really hold off because they knew that they were going to get a top draft pick potentially. And so they didn't want to rush it. But I'm pretty sure he was available to come back last season. So I'm not even surprised with how well he's doing. But it is going to require some patience. Someone who I am keeping an eye on right now is Giannis. The Greek freak in Milwaukee. He's en route right now. I feel like he's going to have a breakout season. Now, Kobe Bryant issued him a challenge. This was over Twitter for MVP. And I believe he has a great opportunity to win. But then again, this is a LeBron media-driven league. So he has to ball out of his mind. His team has to probably be top 2 in the conference, which is possible, especially what happened with Boston and Hayward going down. But he is definitely the future. And if the league is willing to rally around him and the media is willing to rally around him, I think he definitely has a great shot of getting it. But then again, like I said, I've seen my fair share of people who are more deserving get screwed out of the MVP award. One, i.e., when Kobe Bryant was screwed over by Steve Nash. Okay. Now, this is a year when Kobe Bryant averaged, this is 05 and 06, but Kobe Bryant averaged 35 points, made the playoffs with starters named Smush Parker and Chris Mim. Yeah, exactly. But I digress. It is what it is. This is a league of narratives. If they have something against you, you won't win. So it wouldn't surprise me with the fact that, Kyrie Irving left. Even though I still feel like, Cavs are a good team. As long as they're in the top 1, 2 of the East, I feel like this will be a consolation prize to LeBron James. But, we'll see. We'll see if he's going to slow down physically. He does have a lot of miles on that car, so it remains to be seen. But that's it for me. I'm excited to have basketball back. It's a lot of little storylines, and I will be following each of them. Football is already on the way, so I know every Sunday there's going to be some sort of drama. So I'm looking forward to that. And if everything goes right, the Yankees win today. They go to the World Series. They face the Dodgers. And hey, we'll see what happens. Okay. But that's it for me. Listen, guys, if you're a fan of sports and you want some diverse opinions to everything that happens in between the lines, please stay tuned and subscribe to the podcast. I'm gonna try to be the voice of the voiceless. Catch you on the next podcast. Until then, believe nothing you hear, half of what you see. Peace, y'all.